What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So the news around Virgin Galactic is seemingly getting worse with every new piece of news we receive. The stock is down another 20.73% this week, bringing the total loss since the company went public to 91.52%. But those losses are even greater if you bought near the all-time high of $55 and some change. The massive drop we saw this week, causing the stock to close under $1 for the first time ever, came on the back of the announcement of a potential reverse stock split. Judging by the market reaction, this has to be bad news, right? But is it really? And so in today's video, I'll go over what a reverse stock split is, why Virgin Galactic is considering it, and I'll close with my personal take and where I now stand as far as buying, holding, or selling. As always, this is not to be taken as financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and the thought process behind it. I'd recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on anything pertinent I'll be sharing. Drop the video a like if you haven't already, and smash that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. So let's start by acknowledging an important fact. The space industry is very capital intensive, and space tourism, which is a new sector Virgin Galactic is trying to bring forth, is no exception. And so when you think about it that way, Virgin Galactic went public so that it could tap into the biggest liquidity pool in the world that the US stock market represents. And over the years, since going public, they've done so repeatedly, issuing more shares, further diluting investors, and ultimately leading to where we are now with a stock price of just 84 cents, which frankly, I never thought that we would see. But before we get into what a reverse stock split is, I need to cover why the current stock price of 84 cents could be a major problem for Virgin Galactic. And so in order for Virgin Galactic, or any stock for that matter, to remain listed on the NASDAQ, they must maintain a stock price of $1 or greater. Falling under $1 puts Virgin Galactic at the risk of being delisted. That would be bad news. The reality is losing the ability to access the capital market would be a death sentence for Virgin Galactic. Not to sound overly dramatic, but that's the reality. However, before you panic, there is a cadence of events that need to occur prior to a formal removal as a listed stock on the NASDAQ. And so let's take a look at the NASDAQ delisting rules. First, a company that fails to retain a stock price of $1 or greater for 30 consecutive trading days will be issued a deficiency notice. Upon receipt of that notice, the company would then have 4 days to acknowledge receipt and issue a press release. This then starts the 6-month probation window to return to compliance. Within those 6 months, the company would need to maintain a stock price of $1 or greater for at least 10 consecutive trading days to return to good standing. If they fail to do so, that would trigger the official NASDAQ issued delisting letter to be sent out. From there, another 7 days are given to the company to plead its case and possibly gain more time to turn things around. But if that fails, and only then, does the delisting officially occur at the end of those 7 days. Of course, there are various opportunities for appeals and extensions along the way, but in the most straightforward path I just described, the earliest Virgin Galactic could be delisted would be sometimes in March of 2025. And so really the point here is that even though Virgin Galactic isn't at an immediate risk of being delisted, the thought of it could lead more investors to cut their losses here, which then would drive the price down even further, making it difficult to climb back above $1. Now, let's talk about the reverse stock split proposal the Virgin Galactic Board of Directors wants us to vote on. On June 12th, shareholders will have the opportunity to weigh in on a decision to approve a reverse stock split in a magnitude ranging from 1 for 2 all the way up to 1 for 20. The simplest way to think about a reverse stock split is an instant reduction in the total available supply of shares outstanding through consolidation. So let's say that you currently hold 20 shares. Now, post-approval, under a 1 for 2 ratio, you'd be left with 10 shares. And in the most extreme case of 1 for 20, you'd be left with 1 single share. It's important to note that the equivalent dollar value you hold would not change. The main benefit is the instant boost in the actual share stock price of the remaining shares. Meaning that in the example where you currently hold 20 shares for 84 cents a piece, your total portfolio value would be worth $16.80. Now, post-reverse split, you'd either have one share worth $16.80 or 10 shares worth the exact same amount. So why would Virgin Galactic want to do this? Well, there are two main reasons. Number one, it removes the risk of being delisted from the NASDAQ for the foreseeable future, as the share price would once again be above $1. Reason number two, by reducing the existing supplies of shares outstanding, they could eventually issue more shares later to raise capital without running the risk of diluting the share price so heavily that they find themselves once again at or near the listing stock price level. And so the bottom line here is that this is actually an effective way for management to address the biggest risk that Virgin Galactic could encounter near to midterm with the stock price now this low. Being a Virgin Galactic stockholder has not been easy, right? And this is obviously a lot to take in and digest with the reverse stock split news being so fresh. Given that this is actually breaking news as of Friday, there has been no analyst new note put out or rating adjustments. The consensus rating and price targets still remain all unchanged. And so what do I personally make of all this? Well, on one end, I have to applaud the Virgin Galactic leadership team for trying to get ahead of the most impactful issue they have ahead of them near to midterm before it deters any potential institutional grade investors from becoming investors in Virgin Galactic, or worse, force current institutional grade investors to exit their position. The reason being that some institutions simply cannot invest into penny stocks and would be forced to exit if we remain below $1. So to answer the initial question at the start of the video, the reverse stock split itself isn't inherently bad. It actually should do quite a bit of good for Virgin Galactic as a business. On the other end, it's undeniable that this reverse stock split, generally speaking, is not a bullish sign, especially for the small retail investor. More dilution was already on the horizon, but it now may happen sooner rather than later in early 2025, as I was previously expecting. Additionally, with the stock price of each share going up in value post-reverse stock split, it will make it that much more challenging to accumulate a bigger position. Now, there could be a case made should the stock price truly crash to say 50 cents or below for buying a large quantity right now, so that even post-consolidation, I still end up with a decently large, for me, position, right? But we're not there yet. So the bottom line for me, and the last thing that I will say is this: there is way too much uncertainty with this most recent news to add further to my position. That said, at a fundamental level, Virgin Galactic isn't yet at risk to not be able to execute on the path they've laid out to bring the Delta class to commercial state. And so selling here, for me, isn't the right call either. That then only leaves me with one viable option, and that's holding, at least until we understand more around the ratio to be approved for the reverse stock split. Is it gonna be 1 for 2, 1 for 20, or something in between? Until I know more, holding, again, is the only path forward. But on that note, that is it for me today. If you found value in my content, click the like button and share with others you think could also benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe. It's free, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can be in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video and possibly during the week for an extra one. Till then, you can keep up with me here on X for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching. Stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.